presented by Prize Picks. Get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 and you use the promo code WELCOME to Light Years, an August 21st edition of Light Years. Happy birthday, Andy.
Oh, thank you, man.
It's been almost a week now, but we've been potting less often because the Warriors are determined to do nothing.
That's what they do.
So I haven't got to formally give you a happy birthday on the pod.
34. I'm as old as God, Draymond's older than me. Steph is definitely older than me. Jimmy's older than me. Hey, man, I'm young. I'm young compared to the old Warriors superstars.
Even the guys they want to get. Al Horford, older than you. Seth Curry. Is Seth Curry older than you?
What is Steph?
Seth is turning 35 in a couple days.
Oh, my
August.
Lord.
He's 1 year older than you, but we'll take it.
Oh, my Lord. The Anthony Melton's got to be like young. 27. Okay. Ooh, why did I think Melton was like 30? All right.
I think Brogdon is younger than you, but he can't be by December 92.
All right. Brogdon's a young pup.
Not that old. All right, mailbag edition. We got some fun questions here. Might make it a two-parter. We'll see where this goes. Let's just kick it off. I feel like I love a good mailbag.
Right in it, man. A little bit. Right in it. Let's go.
Most important question off the bat. Should I buy a gaming chair or just a good office chair? Like Herman Miller or Steelcase? Y'all go first? I got to take.
You go first, bro. You go first. I love this guy.
You got to go with the Herman Miller or the Steelcase. You got to go with the big boy chair. So I actually have never had a good office chair until our guy Greg, loyal Light Years Goon, hooked me up with the Herman Miller chair. I'd always, been just kind of like, whatever, fuck it, Target or IKEA, right? Like, it's cheap, make it work. And, lo and behold, my back hurts and it breaks, that sort of thing. So I finally got a nice chair. It makes a difference. Don't get a gaming chair. You're not 17. Or maybe you are 17. No, I'm pretty sure you're not 17, Riddick Bowe. You've been in the mentions for like a decade. I'm pretty sure you're somewhere in the over 30 Andy Sam age range here. So I'm gonna take my chances. Do not get a gaming chair. Get a real chair.
I know some friends with a gaming chair. I've never had a gaming chair. I can't speak to it, but I've had shitty chairs and I have a bad back. I have a bad everything, actually, like every warrior. But dude, these office chairs, I bought 2 office chairs like from the office. I don't even know what brand they are, but I know they're office chairs and they're definitely expensive because they're from the Salesforce office. Dude, my back doesn't even hurt anymore. My lower back does. Stuff is, dude. You got because it's like a bed, right? Like people are always worried about like, oh, a bed's super expensive if it's like $1,000 or $2,000. I always push back. I'm like, do you not sleep in the bed every day? If you work from home, do you not sit in the chair every day? I mean, worst fans, we sit in the chair all day, every day. It is worth whatever money.
Particularly if you're a Warriors fan, you better invest in a nice chair because you've been there. You're gonna continue to be there. Joe's gonna make you sit in the chair and watch him go through his Jerry Jones main character syndrome just over and over again. If there's like, you are correct, like bed, chair, those are actually worth it investments because of the sheer volume of time you spend on them.
Buy the chair, be in the chair, stay on the chair.
But also, the Warriors need to get out of the chair. All right, now to actual questions here. So there's like 4 versions of this, so I'm just going to start with this one. Why the 4D chess? Why can't we just give Kuminga a 3rd year at the same value, 22.5, and move the F on? Downside is honestly minimal. So let me just break it down for you. The offer that's on the table, everyone knows it's a 1+1. They're saying it's 2 years, $45 million, but realistically it's 1 year, half of that. And then the second year is a team option. So the team has total control. I've seen this sentiment brought to social a lot. And it's why don't they just do the add a year, call it a day, compromise, give them a 2+1. So 3 years, I don't know, 65, 68, 70, whatever it is, like 20, low 20s. The first 2 years guaranteed, the 3rd year an option. What are your thoughts, Andy?
I mean, I don't think he's wrong. I think there's an argument to say, like, it's a pretty disrespectful offer for a player they clearly, if they feel that he's a 1 year type of player for 20 mil, they should have just they should have traded his ass ages ago. Like it's not like the front office is markedly different from before. Like I don't think the person asking this question is wrong to say like, hey man, like your offer is pretty bullshit. Give us the 2nd year guaranteed and let's just move on. Like I that's where I blame the Warriors front office. It's not an unreasonable offer for
do you think
reasonable thing for coming past that? Yeah.
Do you think Kuminga would accept that offer? Like, I think we all know his expectations were well beyond what the market was going to give him a year ago, but now we're here, end of summer. Do you think this gets it done? Do you think something like, hey, you seem okay with the AAV, you seem okay with like 22, 23 a year, you just want 3 years with 2 of them guaranteed instead of 2 years with only 1 guaranteed?
So I'm just like screaming around. If I were him, based on what we think he feels about himself and what I think he feels about himself, I think he wants a 1 year offer with a player option. Like I think he wants 1 year and just let me just hit them. But if I were the Warriors, I'm like I wouldn't be. I'd be like, okay, that's cool, that's great. I'd do that. Like, what's wrong with a 1 year offer with a player option? I feel like he'd be okay with that. I actually don't know if he would accept that. By the way, I have no idea. So the 2 year, I don't know, because at the same time, 2 years, 45 million guaranteed. Man, that's kind of, that's kind of not that high either, Sam. Like considering like he would have gotten more last year, and we know for a fact that he wants more, right? 30 mil, 100 plus mil, whatever it is that he wants. He wants Jaden McDaniels money, right? Definitely not gonna get that. So I don't know, man. Like it's one of those things where it's like he believes in himself, and then the Warriors say it, but that just when the push comes to shove, it's like, man, if you really believe in yourself, then just take the qualifying offer because they're not giving you 1 year. They're not giving you the player option. That's for sure.
The qualifying offer should get everyone in the front office fired because that's like the worst case scenario.
Yeah,
because then they can't even trade him. They can't. You would have just been better off like rescinding the rights and opening up the full mid-level if he ends up on a qualifying offer.
100%.
You want to know what I think? I haven't brought this point up, but I've been thinking about it more and more as this has gone off. Obviously, my views on this have evolved as happens. Like I'm a little shocked we've gotten to this point, but it is what it is, right? Here's what I think. I don't think Mike thinks he can trade him if he gives him 2 years. I don't think Mike likes him. I think Mike is aligned with Steve Kerr. The offer that he put in front of him is the most transparent. You are a trade chip and nothing else. You are playing for the right to stay in the on the Warriors. That's the offer he put in front of him. It's like, hey, you play well, we might keep you and pick up that option. That's kind of it's like the ultimate, we do not trust you to do the right things. So we're going to make your contract. It's almost like an NFL contract. It's obviously not because it's still 20 mil guaranteed up front, but it's like structured the same way where it's essentially like, hey man, if you don't show up and do the things we want, you're not getting paid what you want.
Here's my problem with that theory, Sam. Here's my problem. It's I believe that that's what they want to do. And I believe that they don't think they can trade him. I believe that. I trust you on that. The part where I'm having an issue with is, guys, nothing has changed with him since the trade deadline till now. Nothing has changed from last offseason till now. Mike Dunleavy was the GM. Steve Kerr was the coach.
There's no new information.
Nothing new.
The new nothing information changed in March where you're like, oh, wow, now he's untrustworthy. Like, it's been this.
Now he doesn't rebound. Now he can't fucking shoot. Now he can't dribble. Now he doesn't give a shit about winning. Like, we knew all these things before. So that's where I blame. And I don't know if this is Mike or Joe or whatever. This is where I blame. Like, if y'all want to play this game, y'all should have fucking done this ages ago, man. It's frustrating that you guys are pulling this, like, big boy, like, executive, we have the leverage type game now. And we're stretching this baby till August. Whereas you guys could have just done it a year ago. He had more value a year ago than he did now. Just do it then.
What if he didn't?
Man,
that's the thing. That's the thing I've been kind of coming around to in my head. Now you can ultimately, this is a Joe problem. Like, they took him in the top 10. They wanted him to be something, and Joe just doesn't want to admit he's not that valuable. So they're trying to spin up value. But my feeling on this entire thing is I don't think Mike thinks he's that valuable because of this summer. Because everyone knows they want to trade him. And only 2 teams have put offers. And they're the 2 biggest idiots in the NBA. They're the only 2 teams who are not run by their basketball ops. They're run by emotional owners. Phoenix and Sacramento. You know how like Boston and Indiana are kind of in gap years because they lost their star player. Like, Tatum and Halliburton are not playing this year, right? So in theory, those are the type of teams that should consider maybe we should make a move for Kuminga because it doesn't matter if we're as good this year.
That's a good point.
What we need is a piece for next year.
Yeah.
Boston could have been like Derek White for Kuminga and 3 picks. Let's make it happen. I know the cap stuff's complicated, but they could have, if they wanted to make it happen, they could have done it. They don't want him. No, I've yet to see one organization who is described as smart show interest in him. A lot of the Pelicans are interested. A lot of the Wizards could be interested. I don't hear about the Celtics. I don't hear about the Thunder. I don't hear about any of the organizations we deem as smart. And you know what? I don't even think it's about skill set. Well, I mean, it's always about skill set. I don't think it's about, his handle's not tight enough. I think it's 100% about attitude. I don't think any of those teams want a dude who's not as good as he thinks he is, but won't accept it. And then they have to pay him. And then they have to deal with the fact that he has money. So it's even harder to coach him. Like the logic is you just played for Kerr and the Warriors on a rookie deal and you didn't buy in. Why are you going to buy in if we give you $80 million, $100 million?
Contrary to Warriors Twitter, Steve Kerr is very well respected around the league. So that thought,
super,
100% believe that.
And so I think to bring it back, I think Mike wants him on a 1-year deal because Mike thinks his best value might be an expiring contract. It might just be a $20 million filler where I can go 20 mil plus Moody's contract. That's 30 mil plus a pick. Although we know we can't trade picks. It's in the CBA. The Warriors are not allowed to trade picks. They really screwed Joe over when they wrote that into the new CBA. The Warriors are not allowed to trade picks.
Nope.
But like you get what I'm saying. Like it's this expiring where you have the option. If you decide you like him, you can keep him. But if you don't, money off the books immediately. And then Moses Moody or someone like that, and then you throw in a pick. Now you got 30 mil and then cooking. Now maybe you can get a Trey Murphy. Now maybe you can get something good. Like I hate that we have to wait until February to do what they clearly want to do. They're going to tell us they love him and they want to bring him back, but they don't love him. They showed everyone they don't love him. They showed everyone what they really think right now of him with this offer, to your point. But I think that's the other reason they're hardlining on it, because they think there's going to be a couple teams who might be interested on him, the player, but there's going to be a lot of teams who are interested on him, the optionality, the cap relief. And it's just like, I hadn't even considered that's what it's come to, but that's like literally where we're at. Cause at least if his number is 20 million, you can do salary matching for some interesting things.
I believe the process. I believe that you're right about the process. My argument is that, and actually I believe it because that's what they did with Jimmy Butler. And they waited and they waited and they waited, and then they got Jimmy Butler for free in terms of not the contract, but free in terms of assets. And they quote unquote won that trade.
They waited till the liquidation sale. They waited till it stores 80% off or whatever.
And my argument against that is, yeah, you did it at the end of the season, and then Steph passed out because he had to play 70 games. He had an ankle, he had a knee, he had a finger, he had an arm, he had a wrist, he had had a shoulder, and then he finally pulled a hem and he was done. Sam, if this team was more focused on urgency, because if they had looked at trading him for someone like Alex Caruso, and we know the dumbass Bulls probably would have taken that trade. They probably would have been down if the Warriors were willing to throw Kuminga and a pick for Caruso. I'm not saying
they
that
wouldn't
the
need
Warriors,
to throw a pick, not after it just took
not
Giddey
even a
straight
pick.
up.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Actually, the Thunder didn't even do it.
They don't like picks. They're a perfect trade partner for Joe. Joe doesn't like to trade picks. They don't want picks.
Yeah,
Why haven't we had a Warriors Bulls trade?
Well, they're like, oh, we won't trade Vucevic unless we get a first. So fuck them, whatever. But my point is that like there's an actual GM, Sam Presti. He's like, hey, I'm gonna find a mark. I'm gonna go get him. I'm not even gonna use a pick, and they win a I think they won a championship because they made that freaking trade. They don't win a championship without Caruso. The Thunder, they do not.
Zero chance. They lose to they lose to the Nuggets.
And I don't know if the Warriors win a championship with Caruso. They definitely would have had Caruso and still got Jimmy. Like that's definitely for sure. They didn't lose anything. And that's where my problem comes, because what you're saying, it makes sense, dude. Like you get Kuminga on the 20 mil, you add in Moody, and then you add in a pick or two and you get someone. It makes sense. Steph is also going to be 38 years old. And you guys should have been more proactive in making that move off of Kuminga earlier, because, as I said earlier, nothing has changed about Kuminga. So you guys waited all this time, and at some point, man, like, what if Steph plays 35 games next season? Then none of this stuff really matters.
Then we can't trade. Then we can't trade the pick. Then we got to keep Kuminga and rebuild.
We might not even do the podcast for a month. We might just boycott. You know what I mean? I might just boycott. But no, that's the frustrating part, man. Like that's just the urgency stuff that irks me. But to your point, like that process, like in theory, does make sense. I'm sure Excel says it makes sense. I'm sure it does. I'm sure it all makes sense, right?
It's not that I agree with everything you're saying. It's more of just kind of like, now we're here. It's annoying. Obviously, I agree with everything you're saying. They should have known whether he's a guy for them or a guy to move 18 months ago. You know, whatever. It is what it is.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Steve. Who do you think?
Thank you, Kirk.
Who do you think's most? You think Kent's at fault? You think Kent's the most at fault? I don't
know. Kent left? Is that why Kent left?
Did you and Tommy talk about that? I missed it. No,
we didn't. We skipped over that. I think it's Joe, to be honest with you. Yeah. Joe's the most problematic here. And then, you know, I like Mike. There's some positives here, but he's not Jerry West. I think you and I don't mean that in terms of like I think Mike absolutely knows ball. He knows ball. He knows what matters, what doesn't. But like, it's more than knowing ball. It's like Jerry West is like an asshole. Like he'll actually look his boss in the face and say, "We're doing this or I'm fucking quitting." You know, and maybe that's not the right approach all the time, but sometimes Joe needs that approach, and they're definitely missing someone who's, you know, metaphorically willing to put their nuts on the table instead of like trying to play politics, internal office politics.
That's right.
Because that's what the Warriors feel like. It feels like everyone's trying to play internal office politics with Joe, who's clearly like an emotional fan. I think he's a good owner in general. Like obviously he is. They've done good stuff, but like he thinks like a fan. And when he likes something, he likes something. And you got to be able to like challenge him. And it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. So
which is why Bob's not here. I think we got like 10 more questions, right? But okay, we'll do another.
We do. One more to finish up this topic here from our guy Noah. Let's say JK resigns going into the trade deadline, could be an important part of the season. What are you hoping and looking at potential deals for the Warriors to acquire? I would flip JK in a new deal and a couple picks for Trey Murphy, for example. Well, I would too. You know, I would trade a player who's not part of the future for a player who is very good and fits every team. Like that goes without saying. I actually look, I can spend an hour talking up hypothetical players I would like.
Okay.
It's like whatever. Like I don't see the point in doing that right now. Like what I really want is they're gonna obviously enter the season with Kuminga as kind of that big four or that big wing who plays the four.
Oh, I would like him. Back. Hold on. You're assuming
he's
okay. That's what he's saying.
Back.
Okay.
He's back.
Okay. All right. Sorry, the question says he's back too.
Yeah.
You're saying he's back. All right.
I would just. I don't. I would like to see him flipped for a guy who can actually do that. I don't care. Like the roster will tell you what they need, but I have a suspicion they're going to need like PJ Washington. And I don't think PJ Washington is the sexiest player in the NBA. Like he's never going to make an all-star team. He's not a star. But you know what he is? He's a guy who can close playoff games. You know what he is? He's a guy who's 27, which is neither too young nor too old. Too old is actually kind of an issue for this team. He's a guy who can actually rebound. He's a guy who can stick open shots. He's a guy who defends, like I'm not looking for JK to be the piece that gets us a future all-star. It would be great. Like I think Trey Murphy could be an all-star if he's on the Warriors. I would take him. If this was on the table, I would do it immediately. But honestly, I'm looking at far more pragmatically. Like, can we just get a guy who can do some things? Can we get a guy who can do what Harrison Barnes did in 2015? Can we get a guy who can do what Otto Porter did in 2022? Like those are the type of things I'm looking at. And I'm looking at guys like PJ Washington who are a little underrated role players, but they're also like the upside is what, like he's just going to become a better role player. He's not going to magically become, an all-star.
Also makes $15 million a year, by the way, which I thought it was going to be higher. I don't disagree.
Yeah, but he's gonna end up getting 20 in his next deal.
He's really good. He's really good. I like PJ Washington. He was one of the big reasons why the Mavs made the finals that season. He's awesome. He's just a really, really good shooter. I like him.
He's
physical. Does defend. I'm looking at the names and the contracts here. Like there aren't amazing options. Here's a problem with the Warriors is that when you talk about Joe, like he doesn't really want to trade for guys. I don't think he wants to trade a Kuminga for a guy like PJ Washington. That's the only pushback I have. Like I think Joe will look at this list here, and I don't even know if he knows who Trey Murphy is. Like I think he probably look at this list and be like, if we add these contracts together, can we get? And I'm looking at this. It's all he's thinking about. Can we get Zion Williamson $40 million? Can we get Jaren Jackson Jr. $41 million debt? By the way, that might not be a bad option. I don't know. Like that might be the one. And you can like he's probably thinking like, can we get Pascal Siakam? They could have had Pascal Siakam from years ago. But I hear you. You're thinking from a fit. Like Mike would probably do that trade. It's just okay. We'll see what we got next.
It's not the sexiest move, but it's like one of those. It's going to make everyone better.
I got one.
And he does things that you need. What's that?
Before we finish this segment, I got one last name for you. He's pretty expensive. Lauri Markkanen, I think, is it's a fit for this team.
They're not getting a trade down with Ainge. I'm sorry. It's not.
Hey, it ain't Danny. Danny's son. It's another Ainge. Also is unserious, maybe, but $50 million. I mean, I don't know how you match that. It would be really difficult with the contracts that you have, but I would like Lowry. Like Lowry on this team would be a special fit, and he's playing well in Euroball right now. So, all right, we got some other stuff going before we get there.
Would you do Kuminga and Draymond for Lowry? So now your big three is Steph, Jimmy.
Yeah, I would. Lowry. Yeah, I would.
Because we got Jimmy, and he does enough of the things. Yeah. Enough of the things. That's right. They are like low key loading up on guys they're not Draymond defensively, but they're kind of a lot like him. Just letting them know that, hey man, we could use your salary, and we got enough. We got the great value versions of you defensively.
There's only 2 seasons left. Like I'm not worried about like this stuff after. Like I would do that trade. Would you?
Yeah.
It's I agree.
It would hurt my soul, but it's the right basketball move.
Pods and Lowry would be fun. I mean, just like as after these guys.
Make sure to check out the Warriors World Tournament this weekend.
Like Here's podcast, we are brought to you by Factor. Look, man, we're all busy. Sam, I can barely get you to respond back via text. I don't even respond back via text. I said we got work. They got calls from 7 a.m. when you got to drop your kid off, and then after that, you're just sitting on Zoom for 8 straight hours. So you don't got time to prep for food, man. Like at night, you got to make sure a kid goes to sleep by a certain time, and then you're just too tired. You're not meal prepping. Many people out there, I think a lot of our listeners probably feel the same way. Because of that, we got Factor, baby. Factor they've got meals automatically ready to go and they're healthy. So listen, more variety, more meals. They've got a wider selection of weekly meal options. I think today I had a chicken breast with broccoli with a little bit of like rice on the side. I don't know what the rice was, but the sauce was incredible, like super tasty. And the thing is, it's actually extremely healthy. They got this thing called GLP-1 friendly meals. They've got new Mediterranean diet stuff. They've got Asian inspired meals with bold flavors from influenced by China, Thailand. That's why 97% of customers say that Factor helps them live a healthier life. That's what I need. That's what I'm trying to do. So you guys got to get on Factor. Eat smart. Factormeals.com/lightyears50 off. And use Lightyears50 off to get 50% off your first box. Plus free breakfast for 1 year. Wow. That's code Lightyears50 off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box. Plus free breakfast for 1 year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. That's code Lightyears50OF. All right, we're brought to you by Square. Today's episode, our guys at Square, smart, streamlined tools to make running your business very simple. For a limited time, our listeners can get up to $200 off Square hardware when you sign up at square.com/go/lightyears. Visit today. Discover how Square can transform your business. I go get coffee at my local cafe in downtown Burlingame. They use Square. They make it an easy process to pay, get my drink, or get my food. No extra steps. Square keeps it simple. Get smart, easy-to-use tools you need to simplify your day-to-day and free up time for what matters. They can take payments. They track sales. They handle inventory, manage staff, send invoices. They help keep up with all your finances from one system. They got built-in features like reporting, invoicing, and inventory management. Square gives you everything you need to run your business. Square keeps up so you don't have to slow down. Get everything you need to run and grow your business without any long-term commitments. And why wait? Right now, you can get up to $200 off Square hardware at square.com/go/lightyears. That's SQUARE.com/GO/lightyears. Run your business smarter with Square. Get started today. All
right. Next question. I kind of like this one. We haven't discussed this one yet. All right. In an attempt to stay positive, from our guy Harry, the rumored signings of Horford, Melton, Brogdon, and Seth Curry put our young players, Moody, Pods, Kuminga, in great position to excel. High IQ, good shooting, team defenders, and fit alongside young players. I do agree with his point. Like, all these signings will make the young players better. I actually have a question for you based upon this one, okay? So, we're not talking Horford and Melton. We're assuming they're coming to the Warriors, and I don't even want to deal with the reality where those things fall apart. Let's talk Brogdon and Seth Curry, because I feel pretty confidently only one of those two guys will make the team.
Okay.
They just don't have enough. Like, they both don't have enough players. But, like, let's be honest. Okay, Kuminga's back. That's 10. Horford, 11. Melton, 12. You need one more guard, Brogdon or Seth. You're not signing them both. Okay. So my question for you is, who would you prefer in the year 2025, 2026? Brogdon or Seth?
Neither of them can stay healthy, which is a hilarious part. Like, it's not like Seth Curry is a Iron Man.
Are injuries really that big a deal for him right now?
I guess there is your point that
68 games last year.
Is your point that they're okay? So regardless of that, I'd rather have Brogdon. I don't think it's close. Maybe you're asking this question because you prefer Seth's shooting, but in my opinion, the more guys you can get that can initiate, not secondary, because I think Pause is like secondary initiate, right?
Melton too.
Jimmy could do both. But Melton is definitely a secondary initiate. The more people you can have that can run the true point guard position, the better. The Warriors have two guys. It's Steph and Jimmy, and then Draymond is kind of like pseudo-ish. I think Brogdon puts that second unit in such a good spot. Like, can you imagine if you can put Brogdon next to Pods at the 2? Jimmy to play with the bench guys. You got Moody, and then you got, I guess you can throw Kuminga out there, or you can throw like a Rio 5 like Brogdon or Quentin Post, right? Like now you've got a good set of like, all right, a couple of these guys can really defend, and then you've got Brogdon to really put you in a good spot. So Jimmy's not handling the ball and creating the offense. It makes life easier for Pods. It makes life easier to Moody. With Seth, it's just another guy that's like, yeah, he can shoot, but like, I guess the Warriors do need that. But I kind of trust guys like Moody and Buddy. Can you guys just go do the scoring? Pods, can you take a step up and start shooting it at 38% consistently and not be a streaky shooter? So I'd rather have Brogdon. But Sam, also, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, like, I didn't watch Brogdon the last 2 seasons game to game. Like, I'm still kind of like thinking of Brogdon when
you are locked
really
in.
good,
you are locked in on Wizards and Blazers.
Fuck no. And so I'm not gonna lie to the listeners, man. Like, I wasn't watching every single Brogdon game, but in theory, if Brogdon's healthy, like, give me that guy. That's a better piece for this team than Seth.
Guess how many games Brogdon's played the last 2 years?
Not much. Not.
So not just last year. 2 years ago, he was on the Blazers, and then he got traded for. He was part of the Denny package. So then he spent last year in Washington. Guess how many games he played between both seasons?
35.
63.
That's low. That was very low. 63. So 35 a season, basically. So 30 a season.
30 a season.
Oh.
Hard for me to tell if he's playing that little because of injuries or because you know what happens when veterans, and he's like a vet's vet. He's very like Otto Porter-ish in that sense of like, this is a guy who knows how to play basketball and be a good role player.
Yeah.
You get him on a team that's in a tank, then they just tell him like, just don't worry about it. You know, just go sit in street clothes, you know, get your fit off, whatever. Don't worry about playing the game. Right. It's hard for me to tell which one it is. Part of me is convinced that if he goes to a competitive situation where there's a chance to compete, you could get the 2022 Otto Porter magic.
You love this take, and I don't disagree with you. I like this one.
The other part of me is like, you know what he used to play before this? He never stayed healthy. He's always a guy who misses games. Kind of has a reputation for missing games. And previous years, it was a lot of like missing, you know, honestly, kind of like Jimmy Butler, you know, 3 games here, 2 games there. Next thing you know, season ends 56 games, you know, that sort of thing, right? So I don't know, because I feel pretty confident if they got Seth, he can play in the offense. Like, God, Seth and Buddy running second unit split cuts. Steve is thrilled, you know. It's just got Jimmy running the point with the off-brand Splash Brothers running split cuts. Hilarious, right? But Seth, I think, is more realistic to be healthy and good vibes guy. Do you think Seth Curry is going to be a problem on the bench? No. He could be like GP2. He could be living. He could be smiling. He's going to be clapping. He's going to have a game where he scores 21 on 7 threes. He's going to be great life. You know, and NBC is going to eat it up. The amount of bullshit they're going to do with both Currys on the team is going to make me want to throw up in my mouth. You know, like he is a safer bet. He is a safer bet. You know exactly what you're getting. Brogdon, it's just like, I don't know. Is he physically able to do it? Because like to your point, he is a better player. He can create. He won 6th man of the year 2 years ago with Boston. He's generally been a good player. He's generally been a really good player for a while now. Can create off the pick and roll, sticks his shots. I mean, he's a career 39, 40% three-point shooter.
Good shooter. I heard that.
He's a little like, he's a careful passer, which can be annoying. You know, like he'll do the thing where he won't try a certain pass because he doesn't want a turnover. But
Chris
you know
Paul?
what?
Do I hear Chris
But you
Paul?
know what? This team could use that, given how many guys love to just fucking pass first, think later. You know, it's not the worst thing in the world to have someone who's gonna just think a little more before they make a move. Like he's a pragmatic player. You know what I mean? Like Chris Paul's actually not the worst thing on earth, and I actually don't love it I don't hate it from a contrast perspective to like, you know what you're gonna get with Steph and Draymond. You know you're gonna get some moments where you're just like, oh.
He feels like a I feel like we compare every smart veteran that gets added to the Warriors to just gonna say like just maybe we say he's Sean Livingston, right? Like maybe Brogdon's
Mhm.
someone like Sean Livingston and Jimmy's closer to Iguodala. Like, it's all different, but from a IQ stabilization perspective, because I do think like we talked about this on every post game. Our listeners know we do one after every game. It's like the problem the last few years when they don't have that stabilizing force is that Steph and Draymond aren't like they're
You gotta
high
let him
IQ, but
go.
yeah, they gotta play. Like that's what Jimmy was so good at. Is like Jimmy just brought them down a little bit, which is why like everybody was like, "Hey, in crunch time, like get Jimmy the ball," because Jimmy can't shoot like Steph, but Jimmy not gonna turn the ball over, and it
No.
makes it so much easier for guys like Steph. And so I think Brogdon does the same thing, not at that level, but with the bench. I hear you on Seth, man. I hear you on Seth, but I just think I just prefer the guy with the higher upside. Just this team. I think this team needs more upside than it needs, and I think Brogdon gives more upside. But again, like, hey man, if he plays 40 games, you were right, and it's likely that he does. We were talking to She last night. Hey man, like if they're gonna have like 7-8 guys that are over 35 years old, I guess Brogdon's not 35, but like he feels like he is. Some of these guys got to be healthy at once, right? Like only so many. It's not like they're the Niners, right? So I'm like, some of these guys got to stay healthy. Like,
well, the Niners can't keep 22-year-olds healthy. That's a different issue.
So Rick's, but they don't got Rick Celebrini. That's the difference. They don't got
Niners,
our guy Rick.
Niners get way too fucking excited when they see a guy in the draft who fell because he tore his ACL. But hey, you know what? There is a reason he fell, because he tore that. The spirit of Trent, the spirit of Trent Baalke lives on, even though he's been gone for a decade.
Fucking Trent. I got a theory for you about the Niners though. Like I think it's because they just draft guys that, like, it's not that they're already injured. I get what you're trying to say. I think they just draft guys that are injury prone. Like they Niners like guys that hit really hard and play really hard. I'm not saying that other players don't, but it feels like, I mean, they draft these guys that are just like, yeah, we're gonna go balls to the wall. And it feels like all football players are like that, but man, they just draft these guys that's just like, I don't know, man. Like they're always like,
too much dog.
Too much dog. Yeah. Like I'm ready to run through a wall. It's like, well, don't run through the wall though.
I don't know, man.
I don't know, but yeah,
they do love to take undervalued guys, because an injury is a reason guys get undervalued. Like, oh, we're concerned about his health. We'll fix him. We just got a first rounder in the third round. He's just missing half of his knee. Like,
well, Michael literally, I think Michael fell because I think he had an ankle. Like that.
He did. He was supposed to be the top 3 pick.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's so yeah. That's my kind of Brogdon take. It's I will side with the team on this one. I'm not going to be mad if they take Seth over Brogdon, because the question for me is not talent. It's I don't know if he could physically do it. I don't know. I know we're out with the guy.
I don't. I'm also sitting here kind of like, why can't they have both again? You made this argument earlier.
GP2.
Like, would you rather have Seth or GP2?
I would rather have one of those two guys in GP2. One's offense, one's defense, than both of those guys. So here's my logic. The 9 guys are under contract. Kuminga will be spot number 10. Melton and Horford, that's 11-12. You got 2 spots left. Give me one. And honestly, like the 15th spot's going to go to one of the rookies. So give me one of the guys you think can give you a little offense off the bench, whether it's Brogdon or Seth, different styles, but like ultimately their role is to provide offensive spark, right? And then, Steve's going to get GP no matter what you want. So I don't even see the point in fighting it. I don't see a point in fighting it. And like, I honestly, it doesn't bother me.
You're right.
You do kind of need a guy like that at the end of your bench who's a veteran, who's cool not playing for 3 games, but then you throw him out there and he's just like, you know what? Going to get some loose balls. I'm just going to make shit happen for 5 minutes to change the energy of this game.
By the way, if I were to look at the tea leaves, I would say that they probably already did something with Brogdon. My guess is that Brogdon deal is already done, because the market probably values Brogdon more than they do Seth. Like, I don't think people are out there asking Steph to play. Jesus, Yeah, if they do sign Seth, I'm gonna really mess it up a lot. But like, I don't think the market is saying like, hey,
You start talking
like,
fast,
Seth, we
it's too
want
easy
you.
to go Steph. That's yeah.
I've done it like 4 times already. I feel like an idiot. I think Brogdon's waiting for the Warriors. I think that's true. I think if the chips fall perfectly, I think the Brogdon signing with the Warriors. I think that's why he's not signing. That if it wasn't for that, I think he would just sign with someone else because I do think teams want Brogdon. I don't know if teams care to have Seth Curry. No offense to Steph's brother.
He's going to get a shot because everyone needs a shooter off the bench. And if you're a bench guy, like he has the right and like good teammate, not going to always do what you say, not going to cause drama.
More
like those things matter.
But I just think the fact that Brogdon's still sitting out there tells me that he's probably waiting.
He's been really injured, man. 24 games last year. Like, and it's one of those things where it's like everyone's sitting out there. Like Russell Westbrook's sitting out there. Well, not that we want him on the Warriors, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like this whole thing's just different this year. All right, let's get to the next question. We got one more here.
Just watch Jackson Dart throw a touchdown, by the way. This is where it's the NFL. What a time. Oh, we got one more? All right, here we go.
If you look into the crystal ball and saw Steph will retire 4 championships, unfortunately, I think that's a likely scenario. Sure, it's hard to win championship. What do you want his final years in Golden State to look like? And is there a middle ground of good for Steph and good for the Warriors?
Ooh, man, this is a great question. Let me go first.
Yeah.
I think they're doing good for Warriors right now. So I think I've been on the record saying that. Like I think the Warriors they tried to do what's good for the Warriors, I should say. Like they used all the lottery picks. They're not trading any future picks. So whatever they're doing today, it is good for the Warriors long term because they're not hedging. They're not taking away from the future. What's good for Steph would probably be doing something like the Bucks, trading all your picks, doing crazy shit like waiving Damian Lillard and then using that extra money to sign Miles Turner, like doing crazy stuff like that. Like that's probably like quote unquote you could argue good for Steph. I do think the middle ground here, Sam, is probably doing the scenario that you talked about, which is can we leverage the Kuminga quotes, air quotes, trade asset into getting a valuable role player so that the Warriors can, because this is a good team. Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, this collection of role players that we're talking about.
A brittle team, but a good team.
A good brittle team that I think if you put the right piece, one more piece around it, that piece ain't Kuminga, newsflash. But if you could turn that into something that is a good fit, let's just put in PJ Washington, for example, like that gives them, I think, a decent chance. That's fun. Like, will they win a championship? Yeah, okay, probably not because Steph will probably pull a hammy in the conference finals. But I would enjoy that. Like, I would really enjoy a team like that where the next 2 to 3 years they battle like what they did last postseason, and you kind of like you're just kind of like, man, they left it all out there. Like they did everything they could. They traded a pick. Can I ask for that? Can I say you guys should trade one pick? Can you trade
It's in the CBA. They can't trade a pick. I'm sorry. The new CBA says the Warriors are not allowed to trade a pick, Andy. We need to stop mentioning it. Unless it's for Giannis. Directly, it's on page 342.
Yeah.
Clause 4.7. The Warriors are not allowed to trade more than one future pick unless it is for Giannis.
And only for Giannis there. And they're only going to trade one, by the way. That's it. That's what I would like, man. I would prefer them to make one more trade, use a pick, go get something valuable, and let's go run this 1 or 2 more times. I think I'm not asking for much. I would like to see them in the second round. They didn't have a real chance in the second round this year. Can we get to the second round again? That'd be fun. How about you?
Is there a middle ground? Obviously, there's a middle ground. Yeah, I just like to see them make more. I'm just very unimpressed with their decision making. I don't know how else to put it. Like everything goes back to the 2 timelines thing, which, by the way, we were right.
Of course.
Think about how many people built brands upon hating on us because we were right. Just so many people. And I just always like to remind people, we're never wrong. We're just sometimes early. Always right, though. Always right here, you know? I've just been unimpressed with their decision making. You know, like a smart front office would have moved Kuminga 3 years ago. Yeah. They would move that thing. And so is there a middle ground? Of course there's a middle ground. They have Steph and Curry. They can win a title. They really can. Now, is it as easy to win a title built around him as it would have been 5 years ago? Obviously not. He's older. He has to be managed. You need to get a little lucky with your health. All those things are true. But I do think there's a middle ground to be had here. And the middle ground, like to your point, unfortunately, it's the most likely scenarios. It's going to be get Kuminga back on this bullshit deal, pretend you're happy to have him, and see what your options are in January. That's the reality. You know, hope Rick Celebrini, dude, if they get Brogdon and Horford and Melton off of an ACL, I know Melton's not old, but he did tear his ACL. 3 signings of old injured dudes to go with their already old core. Rick Celebrini better get a fucking max contract if he can keep this team healthy. And I'm not talking about like highest paid trainer. I'm talking about he needs to see 50. He needs to be getting Devin Booker money. I need to see 2 years, $150 million for Rick Celebrini.
I think he should get the Medal of Valor. You know, some shit like that. Like he should get like a blue star. You know what these military guys like? He should just get like a general star, 4-star general on his jacket when he walks out. Those guys in theory are some really, really, really high level role players. Like it's like hitting on Otto Porter 3 times in a row. If those guys are I would probably
you did it. I'll do it 3 times in one season.
Horford's probably the most impactful out of the 3. Melton's probably 2, and then Brogdon's probably 3, I would say. But I mean, if he just gets 2 of them healthy,
they're really good. They're really good players. They're still very good players. Like Horford is better than any center who is on the market. Now he's older. Now he comes with other complications, but like he's better than Chris Boucher. He's better than Jonas Valanciunas. He's better than and it's not like I wouldn't have liked those players. They would have been useful, but Horford is better than them. Melton is a $20+ million player if he can stay healthy. Like he's what everyone wants. Like a legit all defensive caliber point of attack defender, solid secondary ball handler, and he can shoot it. Like it's like KCP Caruso types. You know, like those guys get paid 20. They're hard to find. You know what I'm saying? And then Brogdon, I mean, Brogdon was a starter for a long time. Like he could still start in this league. He's such a smart point guard. He can really shoot the ball, doesn't turn it over. Yeah, he's not explosive like the Steph or even like Dame or those guys, but like he's a fucking good player, you know? Like those are all good players, and all 3 of them come with huge injury risks. I guess that's what we're doubling down on. We're doubling down on Rick Celebrini not only being the best trainer in the NBA, but actually being just like breaking science. He's literally figured science out and no one else knows about it.
It's actually more important to the Warriors next year, Rick Celebrini, than like Steve Kerr. Because like Steve Kerr's system is well known and they can run it. They're all veterans, they get it. Rick Celebrini, you got to do the impossible. And the crazy thing is, I was thinking about this last night. Moses Moody wasn't healthy. Podziemski was not healthy pretty much all season, it felt like. And Kuminga missed I don't know if this is talked about enough. Kuminga missed half the season with an ankle injury. Like all their young guys also were hurt. I'm not saying it was anyone's fault. It's just like this team was just injured the whole way through. So, you know, maybe the Warriors get better injury luck next season. Knock on wood. Maybe that's what it is. They're just leaving it up to God.
That's why we don't trade picks, because we're just gonna get better health. That's gonna be the move. # better health. Appreciate everyone.